Hey viewers, welcome back to the Noob Guide for Noobs. Today we are discussing the gods, a little bit more specific. So I am going to do it by, by class basically. I'm going to tell you as a new player what you should play, and as an advanced player what you should be able to play. So this is made obviously for the new players. So if you're new to the game, then I'm going to recommend other gods than if you're experienced or more advanced. Basically, if you get past level, let's say 20. So this level, not the mastery level, because the mastery level really doesn't mean anything. I'm going to just go by these classes and then give you my recommendations of what you should be able to play in the advanced and what you should play in the beginning, because you have the noob stompers, the ones that are really easy to use to win in those early levels, and that are kind of the stronger characters, but some of them fall off once you reach the advanced stage. So yeah, play them while you can, I would say. So Arachne is a very good example of that. She is like extremely good when you start the game. So when you're new to the game, Arachne is like super good. She has, I will show the skills a little bit. Yeah, first of all, these really don't matter. It's just extra damage most of the time. You have eggs to not only spot certain parts of the map, but also help you kill stuff. So you can jungle with her very efficiently because of these eggs. You can place them around to ward up the map because they give you vision. And then you have Drain Life, which is basically something you jump onto either a minion or god, and it will drain their life. So they will get damaged, you will get healed. And obviously it scales per level. Then the web gives you cripple, that's what it's called. Cripple means that you can't jump out of it or dash out of it. Basically all movements you give a slow and all movement increasing things, so things that get people out of there faster are blocked once they're in the web. And then Cocoon, which is the favorite skill of most of, the Arachne players. It is a grab. Basically, if you want to refer to it as a League of Legends skill, it is the Blitzcrank grab. So you shoot out the projectile. If it hits only a god, it travels through walls, it travels through minions. If it's oh, I'm not sure about that. No, I don't think it. No, it doesn't travel through minions, I think, anymore. I'm not actually sure. They changed it a couple of times. Now I'm not sure anymore. It does damage, obviously, but it also pulls them towards you, so you can follow up with the Drain Life pretty easily. Also, if you place Brootlings where you are, then obviously they're going to get damaged by the little spiders that get hatched when someone gets near. The combination of skills makes that she is very high damage and very hard to avoid if you don't know how to. And that is exactly the point of most of these gods that are good in the early game but not in the late game. Once you learn to play against Arachne, she will most of the time not get a kill anymore. So she might end up like 2 and 6, but yeah, and get 2 kills therefore in the game. But most of the time in the advanced game, she's not picked anymore because people know how to beat her. People know how to deal with her. So in the early stages, she's really good. Yeah, the exact same would go for, I guess, Loki. Although Loki is still pretty decent in later stages. Bakasura, although Bakasura also can work very well if you have a coordinated team, because he does a lot of damage. But keep in mind that he is kind of a noob stomper. So you have to get fed to really be good. And obviously, in some situations, he can still work. Bastet is just very good in the later stages. He's kind of a mid guy, I guess. She can be very good in the advanced matches. She can be very good in the beginner matches, but she requires some skill, and that is, of course, what you're lacking if you start a game. Fenrir, yeah, I would recommend him for the later stages. He's pretty decent. He's not like the best, so he's not a noob stomper. He is not really a high damage carry anymore. He's just, yeah, kind of there. Humbat's very situational, same as Bastet. He requires a lot of skill to play. If you mess up one of his skills, you basically die. And that's the same with Bastet. If you mess up your skills, you die and you never get fed and you, yeah, just lose. Kali, yeah, that's just, she's just bad at the moment. She will get buffed eventually. I like playing her because she's kind of, yeah, she's the underdog. I like playing her because of that. She has some great skills. I'm not saying that. This one, especially the Bloodlash, is an AoE cone effect. So a cone in front of you will get damage. It does a lot of damage, as you can see. 335 plus 100% of your physical power, and it comes up every 11 seconds. So you can do a lot of damage with that, and because of that, she's one of my favorites. Loki, yeah, I really don't like him, but as I said, he's more of a noob stomper than a serious consideration. Although in a coordinated team, he can still do very well, but that's with every god. Every god can work well if you have a coordinated team, because obviously Loki has skills that nobody else has. Loki has a big teleport, basically a blink. He has an invisibility, and he has extra damage. So all in all, he's a very good assassin. But to be a good assassin, you have to have a team that actually allows you to assassinate people. Because if nobody ever gets low, if you don't group up properly, you're just an assassin without a cause, basically. Same goes for Mercury. Mercury is a very high damage guy, just like Loki. He can do a lot of really cool stuff, but you have to have people to follow up because you can't make the kills on your own in the early game. And if you don't get kills or assists in the early game, you don't get to the late game fast enough, and then, yeah, you're kind of screwed. Naja, yeah, he is a high level, so advanced level player, god, I mean, and once you master him, yeah, you will win so many games with him. You will win way more than you will lose because he does so much damage. But he is a true assassin, just like the other two that I mentioned before here. I mean, these first few guys, yeah, they can work in different roles. Fenrir can be kind of a protector of kinds. Bastet can be just a normal damage dealer. Bakasura can work well as a jungler ganker kind of combination that just does damage as well. It's just that Naja is really just a single target nuke all game. And if you have a well coordinated team and you know how to play him, he is awesome. If your team screws up or you screw up, he is going to fail hard. Same thing goes for Thanatos, although Thanatos is kind of able to poke as well. He can take out minions pretty well. He can just do a whole lot of other things outside of being an assassin, just like most of the others. Thor, same goes for him as for Fenrir. He has a lot of CC. He can work well in a coordinated team, but most of the time he just, especially in the lower level games, he uses his stuns and such to get into a fight, and because nobody follows up, he gets screwed. But he is a noob stomper once you learn him, and if you don't overextend too much with him, you have a good chance of getting a lot of kills and, well, just getting a lot out of him. So that being said, I would recommend that you watch videos on these guys, on what they do exactly, how to play them, and I may actually, if this gets, well, a little bit popular at least, I will get guides on every one of them. So the warriors then. The warriors, as I said in my previous video, are the guys that don't die easily. So this one has a heal for, well, the entire region around him. This one has a heal for himself. This one has a heal for himself. This one I don't actually know. He just got remade. This one has just insane tankage, as does this one. This one also has a heal. So most of them have a heal. Oh, this one has a heal as well on his ultimate. So all in all, what you want out of these guys, and that goes for every one of them, you want to bring the pain to your opponents. You want to be aggressive with them. Most of them do a lot of damage. So this one, I guess the Odin as well, but Sun Wukong and, well, these three, so the Guan Yu, the Hercules, and the Sun Wukong do a lot of damage. The Odin and the Tyr bring a lot of CC as well. And the Vamana is kind of the outsider. He used to be super good. Now he's just an AoE machine for the early game, basically. He's still a decent guy to play, but he is not as good as he used to be. He's no longer a carry. He now got kind of demoted to this. He cannot really protect his carry like the other guys can. I mean, Guan has a stun. Odin has a cage where he can cage people. Kind of like the Jarvan ultimate, if you want to refer to it as a League of Legends skill. Yeah, Hercules has a stun as well as a pop back or throwback, so he throws people towards him. And he also has a slow, I believe. Yeah, and Tyr just has insane amounts of just juggling power. He can just keep people away from his carry all day long if he wants to. These are really good guys if you want to be kind of a protector, but not really be stuck with just doing CC. You want to do damage as well, you want to get kills. These are the guys to go for. All of them are good, except for Vamana. I would not recommend him in any level, although he's fun to play. So if you want to try him out, go right ahead. I'm just not recommending him either for the early stages of your play or the late stages. What do I recommend for the early? Well, Tyr definitely for the late, Odin for the early, Guan Yu for both. So he's good all the time. Learning him, definitely good for your Smite career. Hercules, good at every level. He doesn't die a lot. He has really high healing values. And, well, as I said, he has a stun, he has a throwback, he has an insane amount of damage on his ultimate. And the same goes for Wukong. Wukong has a lot of potential, both in the, well, for new players and for advanced players. So, yeah, there you have it. Vamana, not recommended at all, as I said. Odin, really just an early game character, or an early career character, I guess. Same goes for Ares. These are the Guardians. Yeah, so new players, advanced players, I guess also new players, but mostly advanced players. Advanced players, new and advanced players, I guess advanced players, just for the fun of it and all the time. Ymir is probably the best god in the game. And not only at the moment, but has been since the release of early beta, so closed beta. He has always been a powerhouse. He has an insane stun. He has a wall that walls people off, that can block entire corridors in the jungle or in, well, wherever you are. It can block about, well, 2/3 of the lane, I would say. So it's a pretty big wall. It can stay up for quite a long time. I don't know the exact amount. It can stay up for 6 seconds, which is a long ass time. He has a good amount of damage on his Glacial Strike and his ultimate. And yeah, this is his stun. His stun goes up to 2.25 seconds. That is a long time. So yeah, he's just the best character in the game. If you're only going to learn one guy, Ymir is your guy. Yeah, Ares is kind of an, as I said, a new player guy. So he's really good when people don't know how to play against him. Once people learn how to play against him, he's only good in coordinated team formation. So he will be played in some of the pro team matches. So some of the high level players will still play him, but that is because they are coordinated teams and they use his ability to draw out every single anti-crowd control effect at the same time. So he can draw out 5 anti-crowd control effects at once without doing anything more than just use his ultimate. And that makes him very valuable in those high-level games, but not in advanced level play. Because, yeah, nobody is good enough to pull that off, and nobody's going to use the effect that he creates to their advantage. And that is why I don't recommend him. Athena is someone I do recommend. I haven't played her a ton. I should. But yeah, I just like Ymir more. Athena is super good. She has high damage. She has great crowd control abilities. She has a defensive ultimate that can save one of her carries. Also teleports her across the map. Kind of like the Shen ultimate, if you will. It's not the same, but it's similar. And she is just, yeah, she's just great. She has good defense. She has good offense, as I said, and she has great defensive capabilities for the carry she's trying to protect. Then Bacchus, yeah, in both early and late game play, or not late game, later stage of your career, Bacchus is just a very good character. He does a decent amount of damage, especially well, when you first start playing. Then he will, yeah, when you first start playing, if you play Bacchus and you play him with a lot of damage, you can get a ton of kills because he is so mobile. He has a jump, he has, well, just uh, good ways to keep his opponents where they need to be. He also has this chunk which gives him a lot of protection, 35 extra protection in both physical and magical, and that is basically for free for just leveling up the skill and then hitting the 1 every now and then. But it is, yeah, he's just still insanely good in the later stages. He did get nerfed a little bit in one of the last patches, so he's not the powerhouse he used to be, but he's still awesome sauce. Then Hades. Hades is, yeah, like the ultimate guardian in, well, when you first start playing. He has great abilities. He's kind of hard to play in the beginning, so you do need to learn him a little bit because he combines his basic attacks with his skills to create additional effects. And you might want to check that out before you start playing him and before you toss him out as being, well, not so useful, because he is very good. And combining that with his ultimate, which drains health as well as, well, just does a ton of damage, but also sustains him. It keeps people in place, and it makes, well, kind of combining ultimates with him really easy. If you combine an ultimate with the Hades ultimate, people are not going to be able to run away, and that is of course awesome. So Hades definitely someone worth checking out. He's also good in both the early level play and the advanced level play. Then Sobek, yeah, after Ymir, probably the best one in this thing. Well, maybe Athena, kind of. Yeah, I think both of these are kind of worthy of a second place in this Guardian category. Sobek is single target CC, basically. You pick someone out, kind of like do we have any? No, we don't really have. We have in Dota. We have a guy that does this. I forgot. But anyway, you basically switch positions with your target. What you do is you dash forward. If you hit someone, you will throw them back over your back, and they will land behind you. And then that's your basic way to deal with people. The charge prey here. That is how you single out a target. The rest of your team then needs to kill them because you don't have the damage to actually kill them. The tail whip will knock back enemies outside, or well, inside of a certain radius. It will knock them outside, and it does a decent amount of damage. So it is a very good skill. It also is very useful to follow this up with this because it allows you to keep people CC'd for longer, keep people in your team for longer. He's very good both in, well, the beginner level play and the advanced level play. Although in the beginning level play, I would say it's hard for people to follow up on your well, on your throw basically. You throw people, so you throw an opponent in your team, yeah, they will kind of freak out. So yeah, if they follow up, they will most of the time get a kill, especially because you are then at the old guy's position, and you will be able to tail whip all of the other opponents that are there out of the way. So it will just be a single target that is in your team. So a single enemy that is in your team, and they should be able to follow it up. Vulcan, as I said, is just for the fun of it. I like him a lot, but he's not great. I will leave it at that. He has a slow, he has a lot of damage. In fact, he has a ton of damage. He has an increase in movement speed, and all in all, he's just, well, he's fun to play. That's all there is to it. And the mages, I will go over this very quickly because most of these are just good at whatever level you play. It's just that some of them require, well, some extra care. So for example, well, Hebo and Anubis, and can we find anyone else in that category? Nope, just the two of them. Hebo and Anubis are like the best characters damage-wise. Hebo is, I think, the highest damage in the game, and Anubis is probably close second. But the problem is, this guy, so the Anubis, has two skills where he stands rooted on the ground. Yeah, it's kind of easy to attack someone if they can't move. So that is kind of a problem, and that makes that in the later, so in the advanced stages of the game, once you learn things, he gets nuked down instantly. If he uses one of those two skills, and one of them is his ultimate, he gets nuked down instantly. So there are only very few occasions where you actually want to pick Anubis. Actually, most of the time you just don't want him. Hebo has an ultimate that goes through people, does a lot of damage, but the problem is he goes with his ultimate. So you land behind enemy lines if you do it incorrectly, and you're kind of screwed if you don't have the right team. So most of the time Hebo is, well, kind of used in there by beginners and then by the super pros, because the super pros, they have the ability to work with the rest of their team, and they will have someone there to rescue Hebo. And because he has this ultra high damage, he's still very good. He does a lot of damage. He has some CC in his abilities as well. He has a kind of a throwback, and he has a slow, which also functions as a movement speed increase for him. Yeah, he's not as bad as Anubis in the later stages, but I do not recommend him. For the later stages, I would recommend Ao Kuang, Kronos. Kronos also for the early game. He's a real noob stomper. Freya's a real noob stomper, but also very good in the late game. And all of these others are kind of good. There are 4 healers: Ra, Chang'e, Aphrodite, and Hel. They are great healers, and a little bit on Zhang Kui. He has a heal on his ultimate. They're great healers, but they're not great damage dealers. Although Hell does a lot of damage, the rest, well, it can do a lot of damage, but it's hard to land if people know how to play against it. But they are very good healers, so yeah, you may want to check them out just for the healing potential. Zeus is probably the easiest character to play at the moment in both beginner and advanced games. He is very high damage, high mobility, and even has a stun on one of his skills. He just nukes down everyone. And that is easy, of course, when you're a beginner, but it also works if you're an advanced player, because he doesn't have that big disadvantage that Anubis and Hebo have. So he is probably the number 3 in the amount of damage he does, but he also can escape. So you don't need the help of your teammates to do well with him. So that's all I have to say about the mages. There is obviously a lot more to tell you, but I will go into that if I ever make the separate videos on how to play certain gods, blah blah. So the hunters then, these are the physical damage carries, ranged. All of them are ranged. AMC, my favorite. Anhur used to be the best, so even though I have played Neath more, AMC is probably my favorite at the moment. Yeah, Anhur used to be the favorite pick for many pros. He is good in all levels basically. The problem is, if you, yeah, I'll show you, you have the Impale here. The Impale has a big spear, you toss it at your opponent and he gets knocked away. If he hits a wall or, well, some kind of terrain, so it can also be a tower, it can be your own pillar, which you have in the Shifting Sands here. It erects an obelisk and you can stun people against that. If you use your Impale at the wrong moment, you just knock people away. You knock people out of your range, but also your allies' range. So you kind of screw them over, and that is why he's not a favorite of many people. You have a jump, you have a great ultimate damage-wise. If you can play on her and don't troll your allies, he is probably one of the best ones that you can possibly get. Because AMC doesn't have a dash. Neath has a dash, Cupid has a dash, Sibalanki has a dash, Apollo has a dash, Artemis doesn't, but and Anura has a jump. Well, I guess Neath has a jump as well instead of a dash, but it doesn't matter. So you have this whole group of people that have a dash or a jump, and you have two that haven't, but they do get something back in return. This guy gets a lot of movement speed back in return, which is great to have, as well as a slow and a lot of damage. Artemis gets a snare and stun back, and the stun even comes with immunity to crowd control effect. So all in all, yeah, she is also kind of someone you want to learn. Apollo, just very high damage, good crowd control, and a very good escape in his ultimate. If you don't want to deal with people, you can just use your ultimate and fly away. Basically, you become invulnerable to crowd control effects, and once your ultimate arrives in a few seconds, I don't know how much the charge up time is, I don't know if it's actually in here. I don't know. No, it's not in here. But it takes about 2 seconds to charge up. But once it's charged, you're invulnerable. And you can just fly out. You cannot do damage anymore, obviously. That would be insane. But you can just fly away back to base or to wherever you want to. From these guys, none of these are bad as a beginner, except for Anhur, because if you don't know how to play him, you're going to troll your allies, and well, as long as you don't do that, all of them are good. My recommended for early game characters would be Neath, Cupid, and Apollo, I guess. Although Artemis also comes to mind. And for the advanced, all of them are good. As I said, my favorite, but that's because of my play style, is AMC, Neath, and yeah, I guess I like all of the other ones. So don't really have a third one. So that's just about what they do. And as I said, if you want to learn a specific god, you should watch some videos on YouTube just to see how they play, and you should just practice a lot, because all of these gods, no matter which one you want to start playing, they all require some skill, some knowledge on how to play them. But especially people like Anhur and Ymir, they can troll your allies so hard. And if you troll your allies too hard, people are going to rage at you. So watch out a little bit for that. Otherwise, they're all good. So hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.